What's up guys, Drifter here from Driftwood Gaming, and in this RPG Maker MV video I'm going to show you the new action sequence I've made. I'm calling Twister Strike, and it's going to be a new limit burst ability. So what I'm going to do is show off the ability a few times, and then I'm going to say my outros and stuff. And then for those subscribers, those who have subscribed to the channel who want to learn how I did it, I'll do that after I say see you next time and all that stuff. So I'm just going to show it to you real quick. Those of you who just want to take a look at it can get it right at the beginning of the video and go about your day. And yeah, this ability is called Twister Strike. I'm giving it a 6 out of 12 star as far as how strong it's going to be in the game Dungeons of Driftwood. It's going to deliver a 12-hit combo attack. It's dealing physical, slashing, and wind damage thanks to Yanfly's element core to one target. The next action sequence that I'm going to be making is going to be a multi-hit, but it's also going to be all enemy hit. So that's after coming up with a few of these action sequences, I've noticed that they're all single targets. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is work on like a multi-hit, sort of like a Firaga type ability. So the first one. First of all, I've got the basic action sequences that you can download at driftwoodgaming.com, and all the basic weapons, excluding the bow, which I haven't made yet, has got a very, very basic action sequence. And then I've made a few other action sequences. The Mighty Guard, which is going to be for one of the healers, maybe Red Mage or Blue Mage, and then Twin Slice, which is going to be either for Samurai or Ninja or Warrior or something like that. And then the Twister Strike. It's going to be, I'm not quite sure, and I'm actually thinking about making all of these abilities usable by any job, any class. I'm still not 100% set on how I'm going to handle that. So we've got our boss here, and this is, we get an extra bonus if we deal wind damage to him. So we're way over leveled, so I can make this video real quick. So we're level 30, this is a level 10 boss. And we're going to use a very powerful ability on him to end him super quickly. It would normally be a lot harder than this, but I've purposely made it triple the level that I should be, or even farther past that, just so that I could get to it really quickly. Cool. Alright, well thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more action sequences. And if you're interested in learning how I did that, let's get into that right now. So, let's take a look at the skill. So this Twister Strike skill is, I'm using in the description item note tags, I'm using Yanfly's message core to give it all these stars. And I'm typing /I to basically calling the icon, right? And the formula I'm giving it, it's going to be different for every game, so I don't really need to go over that. But I'm giving it basically physical damage from the main element, and then with Yanfly's element core, I'm applying 7 and 14. And these numbers that you type in here are going to be inside of your types. So I can say 7 is wind and 14 is slashing. So it's physical wind and slashing damage for that skill. I'm once again using animation sequences that I'm using the DG Place animation plugin to call upon common events that I'm kind of assigning common events to. I'm assigning a common event inside the action sequence. As a matter of fact, when I'm talking about it, I can just go over that real quick. Scrolling down, and we'll find where I have them all set up. So I'm using this opening sequence, which is basically just running the purple thing across the screen. And I figured this is going to be like the standard charging cast beginning of a limit burst. And it's the same one for the other one. So I've gone over it in other, I think the first one, I went off the Twin Slice. So I'm not going to go over it too much, but I'm placing a plugin command and a wait command, and that's it. So let's look at the actual action sequence. So we're doing a setup action, as with a lot of these action sequences. You don't even really need a target or a whole action for some of them. Sometimes you need a follow action. When you're targeting one enemy, you're going to use target action. And when you're targeting all allies or all enemies, you're going to use whole action. All of this information is inside the help files for Yanfly's action sequence packs 1, 2, and 3. They go over at the beginning. So with the setup action, we're displaying the action that's going to make the name pop up, making the targets immortal so they don't die until the whole thing's done. That way, it doesn't kill the enemy, and I'm still spinning around in a circle, hitting the air. You know, it just makes sense to do it that way. So in Mighty Guard, I have it, don't need it, but in this one, it would be useful to have that, making it targets immortal. Hide battle HUD, that's going to hide the heads up display at the bottom. So this is the setup sequence, which I've kind of already gone over this. I don't think I've changed it too much. Panning the camera to the right, 150 pixels over 30 frames. Focusing on the caster, zooming in 145%, calling common event 212, which I just showed you. Sending a motion thrust to the user, so the sword comes out as the purple thing goes across the screen, and you have like this animation that seems like the energy's coming from the bottom, and he's absorbing it with his sword, and that's like the setups. Flash the screen purple, you barely even notice that. Shake the screen, barely notice that because it's strength, and this is how long it's going to last, 20 frames. Calling animation 463, that's the first one where it causes the charge thing. I don't really know how to describe it. Part of the charge animation. We're waiting for that. The second one is causing like those long circles to like zoom in. That's another animation I made. Wait 25 instead of wait for animation because I want this to actually play before this one finishes. This is the purple like gust of energy that comes from the caster's feet, brings it up, and then waiting for that full animation. That's the setup action. That's similar to the other limit bursts I've already gone over. So this is what's different here. In the target action, we're moving the user to the target's front 25 over a course of 25 frames. So that's going to bring the attacker over to the target in front of him. And then we're performing start. So it's going to move him and then start the whole sequence, which is going to make a motion that he's swinging the sword. Then we're going to play the action animation, which is calling what you put inside of this right here. We're going to wait 10 frames. So before this even finishes, we're calling another animation. And then on the target, which is that wind one, which I custom designed. I'll get into that in a second. Motion thrust on the user. So you go another thrust after that happens, and then action effect. So action effect is how you issue the damage. So when you say action effect, it's going to do this. It's going to issue HP damage with those elements, and it's going to do the formula. Also, when you action effect, it's going to play the effects here. So it's got a 10% chance to inflict dizzy. It's going to strike 12 times. So most of the time, you're going to get one, maybe even two stacks of dizzy, which is like a poison, but it's based off of variables, not percentages of life. We're going to zoom the camera back out over a course of 10 seconds. No, 5 seconds, because we're dividing that by 60. We're going to move users to the target's back. So now we're going to move from the front of the target to behind the target. That's what's causing him to go back and forth, back and forth. And this took a little while to do because I had to kind of design I had to kind of play with this number a little bit to figure out when does it sound right based on how I designed the animation, the ching, 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 ching. So at first I started with like 30, that was too long. I went to 15, then 16, 17, and finally 18 kind of feels right. So I went with 18, and then I kind of copy pasted this back and forth motion another 6 times. So let's go over it. We wait for the movement. So it doesn't automatically continue on. It's going to go from the front of them, hit, go to the back of them, hit. It's going to wait for the transition each time. Face the user towards the target. So when the caster goes behind the target, it actually turns around and faces the target. Then we're motioning attack again, so he's bringing his sword out again. Action effect. So action effects issuing that damage. And then we're basically doing the same thing, except we're switching back with front and repeating that. So then I copy pasted that 6 times to go boom, 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 to make use of how long that animation is. So I don't need to go over all of it because a lot of it's copy paste. You design the core of it and you can reuse those assets basically. At the end, the closing part, we're refreshing the status. Not necessary since we're actually hiding the heads up display, but I'm just leaving that in there as a failsafe just because it doesn't mess it up at all. Motion victory for all of the users, so they all kind of cheer for, we did a lot of damage. The caster is actually doing a different one, the evade, like he kind of like backs away because he was dizzy, waiting for the pop-ups. Not sure if that needs to be there, but I'm throwing it in anyway. Resetting the camera as a failsafe and showing the heads-up display. That's the end of the action sequence. Those animations used in that were designed before the action sequence, and then I built the action sequence to accommodate for the animations themselves. So here is the actual twister blade animation that's applied when you jump towards. So this only happens one time, boom, and it does that. Took a little time to make that to kind of look. To be honest, it's not exactly what I had intended, but I like how it turned out. So I mean, good mistakes, I suppose. And then this one kind of turned out how I thought it was going to be. A very, very long animation, but I made, I think, 12 frames, and then I copy paste. Or no, it was 10 frames, and then I just copy pasted those 10 frames. And you can hear how the flashing is in a sequence, and I kind of put them 5 frames apart, which gave me which is what I designed the action sequence around. So those 5 frames of the animation turned out to be 18 frames in game. So they don't always line up frame for frame. Animation frame and game time frame are a little bit different, which I've come to figure that out. So keep that in mind when you're designing animations and also action sequencing. Do the animations first and then the action sequences second. That way you can tune the action sequences to fit the animation that you've already put in the work for. All right, we did it, guys. Another limit burst down. We got maybe 100 more to go. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, like, favorite, share, subscribe. All that stuff is very appreciated. Check out driftwoodgaming.com if you want some very easy beginner action sequences. Now, if I were to put these up on the website, which I might do later on, they're not going to be the same, guys, because I've made these custom animations, and when you use it, you're going to be calling for animations that you may not even have. It's going to look completely different. So I don't know how I'm going to go about doing that. Maybe I'll make a project full of action sequences later on or something like that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But that's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.